Welcome to the preliminary part before the actual interview. I just want to get some clarity on what exactly is happening here. This is an interview with a sales representative from Closify, which is a hiring platform for high-ticket sales reps, remote closers, appointment setters, SDRs, all that different type of stuff. And Declan was on the platform, went through, got placed with some offers, had some great success, has a lot of remote closing and setting experience. And so without further ado, we're going to go in, break down his prior experience, kind of his journey, so that you can see what exactly that was like and his placement through Closify.
So, welcome to a Closify Closer interview. I'm here with my good friend Declan. He has been in online remote sales for a while now. I want to say I got originally introduced to you probably almost a year and a half ago, or maybe almost 2 years ago, right around like the beginning of your journey. Obviously, I'm going to ask you questions more so along those lines. But without further ado, go ahead, introduce yourself, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, or honestly, kind of the first question right off the bat. How did you even learn about remote sales and high ticket closing?
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Declan. I'm based in the UK. I started, like Josh said, 2 years ago, and how I got into it was just scrolling on Twitter. I came across loads of people, and I just got absorbed into the online business world. So tried a lot of different things, and then ended up in remote sales.
Mm-hmm. Would you try before remote closing?
I tried websites, marketing, cold email, agency. I really went around everywhere looking just to,
Interesting.
shiny
Because
objects.
those weren't really too much of a thing. I mean, like a funnel build is something that I did like at one point, but those I feel like are a little bit different than like how people usually start off. I feel like cold email wasn't really a thing until maybe like a year and a half ago, obviously because of Cold Email Wizard and all the
Yeah.
guys over this podcast and Client Ascension. But yeah, so when would you say you initially first like took the first step into being a online sales remote closer?
Yeah. I went around looking for just somebody to teach me.
Mhm.
First, like remote was I was just being on Facebook, messaging any coach I could, trying to close some deals for them, just get my
Mhm.
feet, wet and just getting into it. So probably around 2 years ago is when I was like, okay, I want to do sales. I don't want to do websites, marketing. I just want to do everything possible. So I just wanted to get into sales and just, start that. So yeah, 2 years ago.
Got it. And what was your first introduction to sales? Like, how did you actually start, like, getting into remote closing?
I was learning online, but then I got into Closer Cartel, and that's where everything kind of fell into place.
Hmm.
I just didn't have any experience. Nobody would hire me without experience. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, I need to invest in myself. So I did that. And then that's when the first like introduction came, was when somebody saw me putting in the work in the group. I did hundreds and hundreds of practice calls, sent them a
Hmm.
Google Drive just full of my face, like completely full. And that's when I first got my closing experience, which was like the most consistent I had been,
Hmm.
and the results were shown for it. Um,
Yeah. And Closer Cartel is one of those mentorships I actually have a link to in my free guide. If you guys are more interested in learning more about that or just sales mentorship in general, make sure to go check out that free guide. And with that being said, what was kind of like your first initial gigs, or honestly, over kind of a lifetime of your sales experience, what different types of products and packages did you start pushing and helping sell?
the first one was like real estate lead gen. So I was doing
Hmm.
like appointment setting mixed with closing. That was just a huge waste of time. And you get them offers that are just not qualified. They're just
Hmm.
not, they're copying somebody else's business. They're not doing anything good. That was my
Hmm.
first one. Didn't make anything from that. Then my next one was e-com coaching. So I worked with an influencer of 200K followers. That was pretty good. That was my first ever time actually making actual money online, which was
Hmm.
so good coming from not making anything for years. Um, that was packages of 5K to 10K, and then some below. And then the main one that I've moved on to recently has been mobile app development. So we sell
Hmm.
packages of 15 to 40K, even more. It's really kind of really high ticket, and that's been going really well. So it's like going up steadily, and it's been such a journey.
Yeah. How long would you say it took from when you first got into it to a point where you were like, okay, I'm actually like making decent money, like you can probably pay for your own cost of living and are like really tangibly feeling like that internet sweet Wi-Fi money?
Yeah. When I got into sales and then started doing it consistently, it was only around 2 months, and it was, I had been in the business, like different businesses. If I went straight into sales when I started, it would have been right away. So it was just about when I became consistent, it started coming, and that was, that probably about 2 months in. Yeah.
And with that being said, obviously, I know you've been in Closify, and I've also connected you and helped you get quite a few offers. So I'd love if you could talk for a bit about your own personal experience with Closify, kind of how that introduction happened, and then just anything you would want to add on top of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So got into Closify, just applied to anything I could, anything with a bit of interest, applied, got put onto a really cool offer through it. That's the mobile app development. The offers before were just from random people on Facebook. And the fact that I was able to know that the company was qualified, and I knew that I was not wasting my time with the interview, because that happens so much. So not wasting my time with the interview, and then knowing I'm selling for a qualified vetted company, which just made me more motivated, made me work harder. And now that's like 10x the amount that I would have made on e-com offer. So it's really good to know that I was going into the right place.
Yeah, and that was kind of like our entire goal with Closify, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. So I actually helped co-found a business that I'm still operating now called Closify, and it is a hiring platform for sales representatives. If I remember correctly, you got in when you either had like a little bit of experience, or back when we had a previous partnership, now have a much larger partnership with that mentor coaching program that I was referring to and you were referring to earlier with Closer Cartel. And so with those individuals who get sales training, one of the things I really like to preface in a lot of my videos, and you're going to hear time and time again, is now for getting into opportunities. Like for when I first got into opportunities, it really took me like a year and a half to be able to make any sort of good money. And I'm talking like a few $1,000s. So I would be able to, like monthly, to be able to pay for my own cost of living and wade through all those awful offers like you were talking about. I've been through that, I promise, in the trenches, as some might say. And so we really came together with kind of like our stature and our poising in the online space, and kind of the respect we had around us for being a successful sales agency and helping train people and place people, and then created that marketplace, and then have been pulling from vetted mentorship programs such as Closer Cartel to be able to help subsidize sales experience, since all of our business owners are expecting people who have explicit experience in the online place. And as you can see here, it drastically cut out the time that this man would have needed to be able to proficiently make money online in this online form of making money, which is high ticket sales, remote closing, whatever you want to call it. And so past that, I'd also love to ask you just like your own experience going through Closer Cartel. There's a lot of different mentorships out there. Not too sure why exactly that stood out to you the most. I know that Luke is fairly loud on Twitter, but I'd love to know a little bit more about just that entire process in general and your honest experience of it.
Yeah. So I know when we first spoke, you recommended Jeremy Miner and Paul. So learning that, and then seeing Luke kind of say the same things, and then having the community, that's what stuck out to me. Obviously, you can learn sales anywhere. Like you can go on YouTube and learn it, but you're not going to get the same dedication and that investing in myself, like me putting the money in and then being like, okay, I need to learn this, and then having 50 people I could do practice calls with. I remember at the start, because I joined so early, there just wasn't that many people around, and I had to message like people to be like, oh, do you want to do a mock call? Like as soon as they joined, I'd just be sitting there waiting for them. But now it's like
Mhm.
hundreds of people, and I can just be like, "You want to do a call? Let's hop on." We do that. So that's
Mhm.
probably what stuck out to me was that community. Like you can learn sales anywhere, but that community was like,
Mhm.
if you put in the work, you've got the network. I still talk to all the people I did practice calls with, and they're like, they could potentially refer me to an offer in the future, or I might have a position for them. So really just building that connection with like-minded people was
Mhm.
super valuable to me. And the training is just super straightforward. It's just like
Mhm.
do this, do that, and you've solved the objection. Or it's very not like, oh, you got to do this, this, this. It's all very, you do this, that's it. Like
Mhm.
very straightforward, and that's what I liked about it because it's just straightforward.
Yeah. And like honestly, even for myself, for different things that I was originally going to pick up in the past, I honestly feel like investing in yourself, not only for like this network and community of people who are obviously all going in the same direction and trying to do the same thing, investing in yourself and putting a little bit of fire under the chair that you're currently sitting in is really what turns this from a hobby more so to a commitment. And I've even asked like online business buddies of myself of mine and ask them like literally to pay them for certain help on different aspects of business that I'm trying to learn. And they're like, oh no, dude, I'll just do it for you for free, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And I say like, no, literally, like, let me pay you or else I'm simply put like not going to be as inclined to actually make this a fruitful endeavor and like actually be able to be committed enough to this. I've myself have spent pretty pennies and multi $1,000 on courses that I've literally never even touched or used at all, and like literally just sniffed the endeavor. And so from there, like just honestly investing in yourself and making yourself more valuable pays in the long run. Whether it's you start off in anything or obviously here you paid basically to not only get a network and access to individuals who can train you, but also with getting into Closify to get to the front of the line and be pushed out to all people actively looking to hire individuals such as yourself who has experience and or training explicitly in the online money making marketplace. So kind of killed two birds with one stone there. And kind of like I always say, when you're looking for kind of that next step, regardless of the business model, you always want to make sure you can look at their fulfillment and make sure that if, for example, sales training, they would have that capacity to be able to train you so that you can know that if you get that, then you'll actually be able to use it. And so, with that being said, kind of more so closing out the interview, I'd love to know what exactly, like, if you could talk to yourself kind of 2 years prior when you first initially started this, if you could give anyone starting or go back in time with the time machine yourself and give yourself or people starting any pieces of advice, any concepts to really hammer into their heads, I'd love to know what those are.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more with what you just said as well. So pretty much along the same lines is just me going back, telling myself to invest in myself. And then there was a couple of weeks at the start of like when I started getting trained when
Mhm.
the self-doubt came in, and I'd be like, oh, I'm not ready to do a mock call. I'm not ready to do a
Mhm.
mock call. I can't do this yet. I need to learn more.
Mhm.
Your first mock call / call is always going to be bad. So it's like just
Mhm.
do it, and then you're going to learn much quicker
Mhm.
because you're going to get feedback. So mine would just be like, don't be afraid of just trying. Do a lot of
Mhm.
practice calls, get really
Mhm.
good, and then show people what you can do without actually, being on an offer before you get put on an offer.
Mhm.
Because I think at the start, like first couple of weeks, I'm like just expecting people to come to me and be like, "Oh yeah, come do this for me, come close for me," but nobody's going to do that. They want you need to be
Mhm.
valuable. So if you can just practice, 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 make yourself seem valuable, make sure you can do what you just say you can do,
Mhm.
then that would have been the best advice for me, I think.
Got it. Simply applying pressure until
Yeah,
something breaks. And by that, I mean your wallet breaking from all the cash flow that is coming inside of it. With that being said, I had a great time talking with you today. I hope everyone enjoyed watching as well. Love to know if there's any places that they could potentially reach out to you if they have any questions or just want to maybe give you their own experience and ask you anything they might need.
for sure. So my name's Declan Wilkes on Twitter, and then the same on Instagram.
And I'll include, obviously, all these links down here. If you already typed that in, well, that sucks. Get over it. Just click down in the description. Had a great time talking with you today, man. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.